Hey everybody, it's Party Elite with another episode of this early look at the Norsca DLC coming later this week. First things first, a massive thank you once more to the people over at Creative Assembly and in the Total War team for deeming me worthy of this early access so that I can share all this information with you guys. Now, I've already done a video on campaign mechanics, looking at the factions, the skill trees, etc., and we have done a video looking at all of the units, seeing their stats and attributes and whatnot. If you haven't seen those videos, do follow the eye at the top right corner of the screen. You should see links to those videos over there, or of course in the video description down below as well. I will have links to all of those previous videos. This one will probably last about an hour and a half, maybe an hour, just testing the various units, seeing how they stack up against each other, just seeing how the Norscan military might fare on the battlefield. So we're going to start off from the top, looking at the lords. Not going to do too many of those, and then just go down again, look at typical matchups that we might see on the battlefield. And if you have any that you'd like to see yourself, let me know in the comments below. And again, I'll try and get another video out this week with some responses to some of your requests. So first things first, something that I've wanted to see ever since we found out about Wulfrik atop his War Mammoth. Let's just see how Wulfrik does do against Kholek Sun Eater. So not sure who comes out on top, because Kholek is anti-large, and Wulfrik is decidedly not atop his War Mammoth. Let me just speed up the camera here again. Yeah, we'll see who comes out on top. Wulfrik is supposedly, a champion. He should be able to destroy Kholek here, but who knows? Who knows? So I'm going to pretend this is an actual battle. Things don't happen in isolation on the battlefield, but we'll do our best to at least get an understanding of how these people might perform against each other. So it's a little slow-mo bash there to start things off, and right away off the charge, it looks like Wulfrik is on top actually, and let's just pop. I should have popped Foe Seeker before we got that charge in, but that's okay. So let's see how this all breaks down. I can't believe I said that. Actually, Kholek is dropping pretty quickly, despite having had Foe Seeker active, haven't used any abilities or anything. Wulfrik is still, maybe he's just lost a quarter of his health, and Kholek is down to half health. So that's pretty fast, actually, considering Kholek is anti-large. But I guess melee defense of 41 is pretty good, but, I mean, Kholek's got a melee defense of 50. Wulfrik is decidedly coming out on top. This is before he's even popped Hunter of Champions. We might need to get that in there just to get a nice and clean victory here. Let's get that going. Hunter of Champions. All right, and now Kholek should be a non-issue with his melee defense dropping down so significantly. Yeah, wow. That went a lot more quickly than expected. Kholek is routing right now, shattered completely. I mean, obviously, but that's just because of the situation at hand here. But Kholek would have died there. 300 HP as he's running away. Obviously, the Mammoth can't keep up with that, but wow. That didn't go as expected. Yeah, no, that didn't go as expected. I thought Wulfrik would have a harder time. That is, of course, on the War Mammoth. Wulfrik on his own isn't going to do as well. But, all right, off to a good start for Norsca. Now, let's get Wulfrik off of his War Mammoth. Yeah, because that's 3,000 versus 2,300. So the cost there is significantly higher, even if we got rid of the Sword of Torgald, which I did not use, or Hunter of Champions, 2687, still more expensive. Anyway, so Wulfrik now, let's get these things back, and let's put Wulfrik against, in another matchup that I wanted to see since Wulfrik was announced, is Wulfrik versus Grimgor Ironhide. Now, I do want to give a quick mention, actually. The map I am testing on is from a mod that I will link to in the description below as well. I forget the name of it. It's actually the mod. It has a second part that allows me to typically choose any unit as a lord. Unfortunately, that does not work with this update, so it'll be a little bit more annoying to actually test those units out. But Wulfrik versus Grimgor Ironhide. Let's see who comes out on top. I'm going to go ahead and say that it will be Grimgor. He will have Gitsnik. The extra armor-piercing damage is probably something you'll take against Norsca by default, so let's see how that proceeds. So again, that slow-mo intro and stuff, we won't always be doing those. Every once in a while, we will get a beauty shot in there just to see how everything looks in action. It's always nice, but this is mainly to actually try and learn how these guys stack up. So we will keep that in check. Again, what I really like about the maps that are provided in the package that I have linked below is just that they're small, they're good for testing, and in fact, I'll switch over to a smaller one So we're not doing this and waiting for things to catch up. How do I... that's the closest I can get. Alright. Wulfrik does look really sick, though. I'm very happy with the art style. Warhammer has always had a great art style, so I guess we should have seen this coming. That they would look awesome. That everything in this game looks awesome. Oh, right, I didn't get a proper look at that. That is horrifying. That is absolutely horrifying. I love it. Oh my god. Alright, Grimgor's coming in as well. Let's just pause for a second. I want to see how those charges go down. We're going to pop Foe Seeker and stop following Wulfrik. Okay, I think Grimgor is... Actually... Now, Grimgor's got armor piercing, which will make a pretty big difference. Oh. Okay. Alright. No hurt early on, and... Oh, damn. Okay, that's... pretty evenly matched. Grimgor is losing. Again, this is normal difficulty. So no morale boosts and stuff for the enemy. But yeah, looks like Grimgor's coming out on top. If I can pop Hunter of Champions soon, that should help me quite a bit. But wow, no. I am losing a lot of health very quickly. I'm at half health. Grimgor's barely at a quarter. It's the opposite of Kolek. Come on, Hunter of Champions. Now... No. There we go. And let's pop Standard Die as well, just to get my melee defense up. Oh my god. I'm taking a lot... I'm actually going to break. Yeah, that's it. Alright, let's try that again, except this time we're going to wait until we have Hunter of Champions available to us, and see how that goes. Because Hunter of Champions obviously makes a very big difference, and it'll probably make a difference on the charge especially, so let's give it 90 seconds for Hunter of Champions, and let's see how that goes. So, well, let's just kick it up a notch in terms of speed. We don't need to waste time here. Okay, 50 seconds soon. We'll get Foe Seeker so we can get a faster charge. We'll have Standard Die as well. Sword of Torgald will be almost ready. So we'll activate Sword of Torgald a little bit through the battle, I think. Alright. So now let's go for it. And we should get a nice nice charge here. Pop Foe Seeker when we're closer. It's a 25-second duration. Yeah, it'll just get a little bit closer first. Alright. And in fact, Sword of Torgald might actually be ready for when our engagement begins. Let's kick it up a notch. And... Alright, so at this point, I'm going to pop Foe Seeker. Alright. So I think that is probably the perfect timing for everything. I've got Sword of Torgald active as well. Everything is active, and I am still eating a lot of hurt. Oh, but Grimgor is eating a lot of damage as well. Okay, this is a lot more even now. It's all about who gets the strikes first. Oh, very close, very close. Very close. This is a significantly more epic duel than the last one. Oh, damn, this is extremely close. Looks like Grimgor is still gonna stick on top. Ah, that was very close, though. Okay. So, obviously, stacking all of those abilities makes a big difference. That's a given, but that's a massive difference. At this point, Grimgor can be taken down by maybe like a Werekin or something. Pretty good showing. I'm glad that he's not able to just single-handedly wipe out Grimgor. But yeah, let's switch out to the smaller pit here. And let's move on to the next one. What do you say to Grimgor to get him angry? Do you, like, talk about the size of his wah versus the size of your wah? Or you just say, my choppa is bigger than your choppa? Or how does that work? Either way, moving on, I want to also test out another Warrior of Chaos, Sigvald himself. He's easy to insult. You just call him ugly and you're set. We'll give him the Auric armor, because I don't think anyone ever goes to the field without the Auric armor. I would be surprised. I never do. So Wulfrik the Wanderer versus Sigvald the Magnificent. Keep forgetting his thingy. And let's dive in. And let's dive right into it. See how Wulfrik does without the distance and time to replenish or to prepare his abilities. See how that goes. Come on. And I'll also check how, I guess, Throgg does against, like, Grimgor and Sigvald. Maybe Kolek as well? These are just tests that I was curious about. Again, combat never happens in isolation. There's a lot of other things to consider as well, obviously, but this is just to see how these kinds of scenarios would play out. Like, should you go champion hunting with Wulfrik, which, I mean, as per his lore, you should. Sigvald looks like he's coming out on top. The Auric armor is going to help him quite a bit. Let's see if we can get Hunter of Champions going soon enough to keep Wulfrik alive and causing more damage, because, I mean, he's eating hurt Sigvald, but he's coming out of it pretty easily as well, just because of the Auric armor. And Wulfrik, meanwhile, is falling apart. Sure, why not? Alright. Getting there. Okay, Sigvald is losing it a little bit. Wulfrik is getting the upper hand. Yeah, okay. Looks like Wulfrik's got this. I didn't even have to pop Hunter of Champions on this one. But of course, he has taken a decent amount of hurt, Wulfrik. He's at half health, which is not ideal for the rest of, you know, the battle that might be ensuing. But he has messed Sigvald's day up, it looks like. I want to pop Hunter of Champions and see if we can speed up the end. Come on, come on, come on. Alright, there we go. Boom, boom, and boom. Alright, so this should finish Sigvald off pretty quickly now. Or not. I guess he's popped Standard Die, right? Yeah. Standard Die and Deadly Onslaught. Very even fight, actually. It's all about who gets that last strike in, I guess. It's a beautiful dance. Wow, it's lasting a lot longer on that low health. Oh boy. Very evenly matched. Pop another Foe Seeker because he probably would. Wow, okay. Alright, so Wulfrik takes it, but only barely. Only barely. So obviously if he had his other abilities, using Grimgor as a reference point, Sigvald would be taken care of much more quickly. But yeah, it's a sliver of health left for Wulfrik the Wanderer. Moving on, though, let's try one last for Wulfrik, actually. I do want to see what the General of the Empire when flying. It's a little unfortunate because there'll be the leadership penalty, but just to see damage output, I want to take this to the field and see how that happens, how this goes down, as it were. And then we'll jump into Throgg afterwards, maybe test some of the similar things. But I also want to see, come on, dive down. Okay, so he'll get the charge, obviously. Oh, great map, by the way, right? It's a pretty sweet map. This is that map someone made on Terry, I guess, to make these kinds of tests easier. Always nice. Alright. God damn. I guess the big problem here for Wulfrik is going to be actually staying in place to cause any hurt. Okay, yeah, Wulfrik's falling apart to this. Quite readily. Getting some hurt. Oh. Okay, well, there goes that conversation. So again, having all the abilities pop will obviously hurt the General quite a bit more, but yeah, Wulfrik took the beating there. The charge bonus flying in did a lot of work. So you can bet that there will be people out there who are charge cycling with the General if it comes down to that. Now, moving on, though, to Throgg, Troll King. Wintertooth Crown is not going to make a difference to these, but let's have him in there anyways. And let's just start with the General of the Empire, because we've got that ready. So, General of the Empire against Throgg. So against Wulfrik, very easy win for the General, I would say. But again, you would probably keep Wulfrik protected by some anti-large units, or have, you know, some skin wolves with armor on hand nearby. Nothing on the battlefield happens in isolation. This is just a test. I feel like that's the third time I've said it. It's going to be the last time I say it. But Throgg is obviously able to resist that charge and starts kicking the bird right in the crotch. That is not polite, man. Oh. Seeing the feathers pop up like that is pretty funny. But Throgg is doing a lot of hurt. A lot of damage. He's eaten a fair amount of damage too. It's not ideal, but of course he does have regeneration. He'll pop back. But there goes the General of the Empire, routing, shattered in this case, but one more strike and the General would be dead, and that took a fraction of the time. But again, Throgg has taken a lot of hurt, so he would need to regenerate at this point, step away, prepare himself for the continuing battle. But now let's see how he does against Grimgor. Balance of power is heavily in Throgg's favor. Let's get Gitsnik in there and see how that breaks down, because Throgg, right now, very early call on this, but Throgg certainly feels like more of a champ. Alright, wreck Grimgor. Wait. Well, I'm gonna miss the charge, but at least we get this. Yeah, anybody wants a wallpaper. Drop Grimgor. Alright, how do we do off the charge? Decent amount of damage. Throgg 8, basically none. Or none. Throgg 8, none. Grimgor got smacked down. Alright, let's see how this progresses. Oh, there's just something about just kicking Grimgor in the face. Oh god, alright. Okay, I mean, Grimgor's getting barely any damage in, which is kind of crazy. I would expect... Ooh. I'd expect a bit more hurt to come through to Throgg, but Throgg is sticking around, regeneration is kicking in. He's doing quite well. And he's destroying Grimgor at the same time. I haven't even popped any of the abilities. I could use Copious Vomit as well. It does strong versus a single combatant, so I mean, we could try that out, but the Grimgor is responding now, so now there's some hurt coming in. We're at 50%. That's dropping a lot quicker now. I guess he must have popped an ability or something to get more hits through, which is obviously something that can happen. But without any abilities active, Throgg takes it. Throgg tries to get one last kick in there. Throgg does take it. Alright, Throgg, champion of the people. Champion of the trolls. Don't know how he is about people. I'm not even going to test Sigvald. I mean, even Kolick is Kolick. I guess Kolick's worth testing because he's large. So let's take Kolick to the field against Throgg and could have probably used Star Crusher against Wulfrik as well. I wonder how much of a difference that would have made. Maybe worth testing. If Kolick destroys Throgg, then I'm going to test Wulfrik with Kolick again. I'm going to break the order a little bit. It might not be perfectly labeled in the description down below, but I think it's worth testing. Alright, let's get you in there. Let's see how this goes. Got a lot more units to go through. Okay, yeah, Throgg is taking quite a beating and not delivering nearly enough of one. Okay, so let's get Wulfrik on a War Mammoth and keep Kolick with his Star Crusher. Wulfrik upon the War Mammoth, and this might go very differently. Yeah, Star Crusher will make a bit of a difference, I think. But will it make enough of a difference for Kolick to come out on top if he activates it? We'll see. We'll see. Because, I mean, if I... memory's already starting to get all fuzzy. If I recall correctly, I mean, Wulfrik beat Kolick quite handily in that first fight, and right now looks like we're maintaining that status quo. Got a good charge, getting some good swings in there. Star Crusher is obviously not active constantly. 135 seconds. Okay, so not going to be seeing it in this engagement, I don't think. Oh man. I can't wait to take the mammoths up against, like, Oh, I've got some plans, and you'll already know them if you looked at the timestamps down below, but I've got some ideas of what I want to do with the mammoths. Alright. So this looks... Okay, let's... Foe Seeker is active. Alright, we'll pop Foe Seeker as well, just to... Why not? Let's see, we're both at about half health. But again, there are variables, so I don't know if this is too different from the last engagement, though now Kolick seems to be coming out on top in terms of damage output, even though it says Wulfrik is winning. Huh. If I'd popped standard die, I think I would have come out on top, but that was interesting. So I guess the Kolick Wulfrik matchup is close enough for it to go either way. Again, Kolick and Wulfrik on a mammoth. Let's just try that again.
Wulfrik the Wanderer.
Best of 3, right? Alright, so let's pop that and let's dive in and let's just see how that goes. So again, good start for Wulfrik, and Kolick is eating a lot of hurt. This time around we're going to pop Foe Seeker right away. I mean, for whatever it's worth. Okay, and this time I think we're trouncing Kolick a bit more handily. Alright, again, the Dice Gods are involved. In terms of, you know, like landing strikes and whatnot, so it seems to lean towards Wulfrik's way, but I wouldn't be surprised if Kolick takes it every once in a while. And now I do want to try out the Marauder Chieftain, who is, of course, quite weak in comparison. And I want to try the Marauder Chieftain with the Skin Wolf Werekin, just because the Werekin is anti-large and armor-piercing, so I want to see... you know, for example, for the armor piercing, let's go up against Grimgor first. Get rid of everybody. Where is Grimgor? Grimmy. There you go. So, are these two able to defeat Grimgor Ironhide if they work together? Now, do I want to get? Yeah. Why would I? For 175 points, I imagine Ruinous Flesh will be a common thing to take for the Skin Wolf Werekin. So, let's try this out. And yes, again, once more, isolation, etc., etc. We're just testing, just to see how this works. And then maybe we do this just as a test, see how it goes, and then dive into some of the units. I'm very curious about how some of those units perform. Let's pull you back, because I think you'll engage right away otherwise. And let's go for it. Oh man, that guy's excited to dive in. Okay, so far, Grimgor's taken some hurt. Grimgor gets hurt a bit more. It's a 2v1, but if anyone can win a 2v1, it's Grimgor, right? Wow, he's actually dropping quite quickly. You know what? I just want to try the Skin Wolf Werekin against Grimgor, because that is getting a lot of work done. Wow. Is the Skin Wolf Werekin really that good? Okay, that's clear where that's going. So let's rematch it, and hopefully we can just keep the Marauder Chieftain aside while the Werekin goes after Grimgor, because that is kind of ridiculous. Oh, you know what? I don't... Okay, I can pull the Chieftain aside, but I think this engagement will start right away. And in fact, we didn't actually get to see this guy properly. Looks pretty slick. Eyes are a little funny, but all good. Okay, so let's see how this goes. Yeah, okay, thought so. All right, tossing Grimgor right away. Keep on him, keep on him. All right. So definitely able to toss Grimgor with a charge. Don't know if they count as large though. Okay, let's see how this plays out. Let's speed it up. And so far, Grimgor, I don't think has got even a single hit in. Oh, that was really nice. I like that. Alright, there we go. So Grimgor gets his first hit in, and we're swinging back and forth. It is definitely feeling it for the Werekin. Haven't even popped Foe Seeker yet. Grimgor is using Foe Seeker. We haven't seen Gitsnick active. But, alright, you know what? There we go. This is... Now that Grimgor can focus down on the Werekin, he's coming out on top, which makes sense. But that is a lot of hurt done before the Werekin gave up, and now the Marauder Chieftain can probably just go in and finish off, finish Grimmy off. Come on. Oh, I should hope so. Die. Oh, wow, you know what? That's hilarious. Okay. Not what I was expecting at all. But, alright, that's good to know. I mean, the Skin Wolf Werekin is pretty formidable. It's not bad at all. I was wondering if I wanted to try it up against a Goblin Big Boss, but nah. Let's move on to some of the units, because again, try and maintain some sort of a timeline here. So Marauder Spearmen first up. I want to see how these guys do against Wild Riders with shields. So let's just get a Glade Lord down here. Nothing too fancy. And where are our Wild Riders with shields? Hopefully we can get them to charge us, actually. So where are we? Because again, I want to put that charge defense to the test. And hopefully they don't go after the Marauder Chieftain. This is where it gets a little frustrating to test unit battles because, well, it's hard to control the AI. But I think we can do well enough here. I really like that mod that lets me make any unit a general, but unfortunately, as I mentioned before, at least in previous videos, I think in this one maybe, I can't actually do that. Alright, so they are attacking. I'm going to keep the Glade Lord occupied, and then hopefully a charge will come in. And we'll see how we do. Come on, straight down. Excellent. Alright, so the charge obviously is absorbed. And let's take a look at how much work we get done. The Wild Riders with shields are doing well. But I think over the course of time that might switch around. Who knows? Speed it up a little bit. Okay. Okay, the Wild Riders with shields so far doing pretty well. Marauder Spearmen are about half health. Wild Riders aren't... You know, it's working out because we're kicking into Rage now. We're already in level 1 Rage. That's +8 leadership. Can we get to level 2 Rage, which will give us the physical resistance as well? I just realized that's going to make a pretty big difference if we can get there. So having standard die active right now could make a pretty big difference in terms of leadership, but we're holding the line pretty well. It's been pulling back, but we hit the next level. There's our +12%. Ah, damn. Okay, a leadership issue. Okay, let's try that again. Let's try and keep Wulfrik a little bit closer just to have his encouragement there, because that might make a big enough difference. That was very close, actually, at the end of the day. Once Rage starts kicking in, very close. Okay, so let's get you guys over here. Let's get you over here, and let's hope for the same. Come on, charge right down here. Wait. Make sure these guys are still here. Alright. Just wanna... Because we can. Sometimes it's nice. Alright. So in they come. Get your spears up. Alright, again, we were able to hold the charge for the most part. Don't really do a lot of damage on the charge. Charge defense, be blessed. And at this point, again, I want to see what happens if... See, the problem is that the Glade Lord is able to just fire away. But hopefully he is firing at... Well, oh, yeah, there we go, come on. What's our encouragement range? We are not encouraged over here just yet, so let's pull back a little bit more. That's close enough for standard die, so you know what, that's good enough for my test right now, I think. But, yeah, okay, this looks a lot more evenly matched than the previous one, actually. Sort of. And 50 seconds. Let's kick it up a notch here. It's funny seeing that line slowly fall back. Okay, so there goes the +8 leadership. So that'll keep us around for a little bit longer, and okay, there goes our commander. That's frustrating. Alright, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna swap this Marauder Chieftain for someone more worthwhile. Okay. Now we should be able to get a fair test. Sorry about that, guys. Just trying to... need to figure out who will and will not falter. I guess Wulfrik is probably the best call, because then we can kill the enemy commander, and then unfortunately it becomes a bit of a leadership battle for the Wild Riders, or for the enemy. But, let it happen. I don't know, don't push forward, these guys need to charge straight down. Okay. pushing forward. Alright. So we can also see here that the Glade Lord is taking a beating from the Wulfrik the Wanderer, so we'll see how that turns out. But alright, so worse off of a start this time from the Wild Riders. Rather, from the Marauder Spearmen against the Wild Riders. We're already at about half health. The Wild Riders are just above half health. Wulfrik there beating away at the Glade Lord. How far away are we from... I wish there was a countdown for the first stage as well. 45 seconds. So we should be almost there. I think a couple more seconds. And... come on. There we go. Alright, so there's the first stage. +8 leadership will help us stick around for a little bit longer. 30 seconds. I don't know if these guys will last for another 30 seconds. Let's get back here. Get the encouragement in here. 20 seconds. Come on. These guys can last 20 seconds, and I can pop the leadership buff. 14. 13. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. I don't know, actually. Even with that buff, they'll probably start falling apart because... come on, come on. There we go. Okay, so that will help their melee defense, and they've got physical resistance as well in just a second. There we go. So that gives us... how much? 12% physical resistance. They shatter. I don't know. It'd be very close, but... in terms of cost, let's take a look at the cost difference here, because Marauder Spearmen are 455, and Wild Riders with shields are 1200. So again, you just look at the cost difference, and you could get 3, approximately, Marauder Spearmen to 1 unit of Wild Riders with shields, and you've got a clear victory for the Marauder Spearmen there. So it's good to see that. Now let's try it against the Orc Boarboy Biggins, because if I recall correctly, when I was doing the overview, my bet, at least in my head, was that Orc Boarboy Biggins shouldn't be a problem, because Orc Boarboy Biggins have very low melee defense. Not that the Marauder Spearmen have a very high melee attack, but let's see how that plays out. I do think it'll go towards, it'll go for the Marauder Spearmen there. I'm wondering if I should split the small units and the big units into 2 different videos. Alright, so let's get these guys caught. Alright, straight down, straight charge down. Come on, come on, come on. Okay. So again, they're going to resist the charge quite well. Hold that line. Very impressive. Very impressive. And let's kick it up a notch. Yeah. We are going to come out on top on this. I don't know how handily, but there we go. There's our first little buff of the +8 leadership. Okay. It's really frustrating. But I think it's pretty clear that that we had that one. We didn't even get to... yeah, I think the... yeah, look at that. Look at the difference in health. The Marauder Spearmen definitely have the Orc Boarboy Biggins on that. So that's... that prediction's about right. I do want to try the Icehorn Marauders next. Do I want to try the Marauders with great... I don't really want to try the Marauders and the Marauders with great weapons, but the Icehorn Marauders, I want to try against... trying to get some flagellants, I think. I'm just trying to think of typical units that we can see on the battlefield. Actually, let's try them against Tattersouls. Let's try them against the Tattersouls. And if that goes one way or another, it'll give us an idea of how it might go against against regular flagellants. But yeah, I just want to test some typical units that we see on the battlefield. So, you know, lots of flagellants, battle pilgrims, gore herd with shields. These are the kinds of units I want to test against, just to see in the current state of the game, how does Norsca actually line up, match up, if you will. So we can charge both of these, because we're no longer looking at charge defense against large. And let's see how we do here. Charges go down, and wow. Flagellants are, well, they've got a much better charge bonus. They have that physical resistance as well. Will we get to rage? because that'll give us some physical resistance, but I get the feeling that might just make it. We're faltering very quickly. No, I don't think we will, actually. The good thing about Flagellants is once their commander leaves, we don't have to worry about that. Alright, so let's try and pop standard die to keep us wanting to fight. Alright, so right now the Icehorn Marauders are getting physical resistance as well. And the Tattersouls right now, they're not losing their combat scenario, so they've lost their physical resistance. So victory is in our grasp, claims the game. We're almost at the next level. That gives us a melee attack boost of +8. But it looks like our friends are willing to give up, actually. Yeah, there's the route. Alright. I shouldn't have done that. I should let them fight to the finish, but I think it's pretty obvious how that would have gone. Yeah, I shouldn't have done that. But I think it's pretty clear the Tattersouls there take the win, but because it was so narrow, let's check it out against the Flagellants. Just because it was pretty narrow. And Flagellants are a pretty common sight on the field. So let's just see how that goes. Let us see how that goes. A lot of units to test. I'm going to have to pick up the pace here. Alright, so there we go. Alright, and let's do this. Again, the Flagellants have a much better charge bonus, so they're going to get a charge in, and they're going to do more damage on the charge, I think. Yep. Not as much this time. Alright. Let's see how this plays out. A lot more even. In fact, the Icehorn Marauders are overpowering the Flagellants, and once we get into our buffs from Rage, yeah, we should do well, especially once that physical resistance kicks in. We should come out on top. Come on. There it is. 12% is a pretty big deal. We can also get a melee attack buff. Yeah, we've got this. This belongs to the Icehorn Marauders, but only just barely. They are basically useless afterwards, and if they get surrounded by Flagellants, the Icehorn Marauders, I don't think will stand a chance. I mean, they barely get away with their with the life of the unit as a whole. All right, with that out of the way, let's look at some Marauder Berserkers, because Berserkers, I feel like Berserkers are going to be pretty common. They're 750. They're kind of expensive, but let's see how they fare against Flagellants first, and then we'll try them out against Battle Pilgrims, maybe. Again, just some common units that I think they'll do well against, especially once, again, because they go Berserk as opposed to just Rage, it's faster for them to get to physical resistance, and their physical resistance is also quite high. So let's just see how that stacks up, if I can just get this guy to fit. Alright. Okay. Alright. Let's see what this does here. Oh, man. Alright, so on the charge, we got a pretty good charge there, so off to a good start, and let's just get a little bit of this action going. These Berserkers are going to have a good time, I think. Once they, oh, that guy's lost his head. Alright, so once we start, as we just did, going Berserk, that gives us a leadership boost, so we're not breaking anytime soon. And you can see by the time the Flagellants are about half health, the Marauder Berserkers are just above half health. We don't have our physical resistance yet, but Frenzy is obviously helping. Leadership staying up because of Berserk, so that's helping as well. There we go. Next stage. 22% physical resistance. I don't think this will be a problem whatsoever. So let's just take a look at this beatdown go down. And the Flagellants are enjoying it, obviously. Look at that, he's happy. He's happy. You can't tell because he doesn't have a face anymore, but he was happy. These guys like this. They do it for Sigma. Oh man, I was hoping an arm would pop off there or something. Alright, so overall, the Marauder Berserkers are still at about half health. They are only on the second stage of Berserk still. Huh. And once they kick up to the third stage, Well, that was weird. Maybe there's a little bit of a bug. I see these guys have stopped fighting. Look at that. Amicable. Friendly. Just hanging out. Just chilling. But, yeah, so as we saw, the Marauder Berserkers came out on top. I don't know if that last level of Berserk did trigger. It must have. They're still at about half health. So, one unit of Marauder Berserkers might be able to take 2 units of Flagellants separately. If a unit of Marauder Berserkers gets surrounded, they'd have a harder time, but they cleave through those 90 Flagellants relatively easily, I would say, without any other buffs or anything coming in either. So that anti-infantry stat really does help. They must have sort of a splash damage thing with their axes. Pretty sweet deal. Let's try them out against some Battle Pilgrims as well. Haven't seen any Bretonnians die yet, I don't think. So let's get some Battle Pilgrims in there. So again, this is 750 versus 600, so a little bit closer in terms of point value. Let's see which way it goes. Again, once Berserk starts kicking in, those buffs make a pretty big difference, as we kind of saw coming. The leadership buff just keeps them alive for longer, or keeps them fighting for longer, and then you've got the physical resistance, which is absolutely massive. Makes a huge difference on the field. So let's dive in, kill some Bretonnians. Oh man, that guy didn't have a good start to this. He's not going berserk. But let's see, so that was a bit more even in the charge department. First couple strikes as well, relatively even here. Both sides do have frenzy, both sides are immune to psychology, but Berserkers have a lower melee defense and a much higher melee attack, and then of course getting Berserk going will flip that difference quite heavily. It won't flip it, rather, it will bolster it. So you can see it was pretty evenly matched, and now we've got physical resistance, and yeah, once physical resistance kicks in, I doubt these guys will be... Let's try something here. It's going to be a little annoying, but try it. Because I do want to see that performance to the end. It was a little bit on the close side. Alright, so... No.
Wulfrik the Wanderer.
Alright. This feels a little silly, but... Let's go in, let's engage. Alright, and now chase me. Yeah. That's right, chase me. Chase me. I don't want him to die. So I don't want the leadership situation to become a problem. But yeah, these Marauder Berserkers are destroying the Battle Pilgrims even more so this go around, and now we've kicked into Berserk, so now we've got that plus 16 leadership. Yeah, okay. See, the Battle Pilgrims do not want to stick and fight. At this point, their Frenzy is going to drop as well. Yeah, the benefits of Frenzy are going to drop, English. And Marauder Berserkers are about to kick into the second phase, which gives them that physical resistance, 22%. Yeah, no. Battle Pilgrims do not stand a chance. Same thing as the Flagellants, actually, about just under half health, these Berserkers. And we're about to kick into the plus 16 to melee attack as well. So the Battle Pilgrims will fall. I'm trying to get this guy back here just to get the leadership encouragement aura in there. But there you have it. Now we have the extra melee attack as well. Plus 16. These Battle Pilgrims do not stand a chance. They will all fall if they, unless they give up. Like they just did. So there you have it. Marauder Berserkers definitely have a field day against Battle Pilgrims, and they quite enjoy themselves against Flagellants as well. So for the price of 750, I can see some builds using them as mainline units, depending on who you're up against. Obviously, I don't think you're gonna be taking Marauder Berserkers up against like Warriors of Chaos or anything that might have a lot of range support or something like that, but they will definitely see some action on the field, I think. Now, let's move on. I don't think I want to test the Brutes of the Hound out necessarily. Again, let me know if you guys want to see something specific tested out, and I will give it a test run, but I am trying to, again, do what I think is most interesting to look at, while also keeping in mind time, obviously. So we've got the Marauder Champions, and I think I want to try these guys out. Let's get some Beastmen action in here. Let's just try them against let's get... What I'll do Malagor to keep him from diving into combat. And let's get Goreherd with Shield are pretty common on the battlefield. It's hard to trust that because they're looking at Wulfrik versus Malagor. So we've got 1,000 points into Marauder Champions. Goreherd are only 600. So we'll try it against Goreherd with shields first. For that extra melee defense. Yeah, let's try it against the Goreherd with shields, because that's even cheaper, that's half the price, and then we'll try it against the best of Goreherd. Because that's, again, more even pricing, more similar in sort of unit class, if you will. So that might give us a better comparison point.
Wulfrik the Wanderer.
Of course they're going to stack like this. Right, but that shouldn't be a problem, because Malagor will probably back out. So let's start battle, dive in, Wulfrik go around. Alright. So these are Goreherd with shield. They will not have any magic backup. Again, we're testing in isolation here. So let's understand that this isn't how battles will always go down. Keep an eye on that as well. I don't want to kill him. I don't want the morale situation to become a big deal, but it looks like, as can be expected, especially with the price difference, the Marauder Champions are coming out very heftily on top. Of course, he's not going to chase. But it says he's engaged, so I guess that's just bugging out. It is a beta build. Alright, yeah, so that's very handy. I guess there was no question there. That was a quick test, maybe even a pointless test. But let's try it out against some Bestigor Herd now, because those guys are a bit more on even footing. Even the balance of power says so. So let's just see how that stacks up. And we can try it against some Longbeards with great weapons as well. Get some armor-piercing dwarfs in there just to see that performance matchup, I guess. All right. Okay, there. Let's get you there. And charge you in there, get you over there, and let's make it pretty. Come on. Alright. Alright. Okay. No one blew up on that charge. That's fine. Okay, not surprisingly, everyone's armored. But Marauder Champions here against the Bestigor Herd. The Bestigor Herd are very much coming out on top on the charge. They are statistically better in basically every way except for melee defense. But I don't think the melee attack of the Marauder Champions... actually, you know, the Marauder Champions have a very high melee defense. I would expect them to do all right. Actually, a melee attack of 39 is pretty good from the Bestigor Herd. So, yeah, the Marauder Champions here are going to fall apart, but let's see if they're able to at least put up a fight. They can hold the line for a while, which is nice, I suppose. They've held the line for about a minute now, and we've got our first level of Rage kicking in, so that's going to help. Let's see how we do when physical resistance kicks in, if we're able to turn the tide. Okay, there it is. Hanging in there a little bit better. That's a rout. I needed to keep an eye on Malagor there, so let's rematch that. Sorry, guys. It's important to keep in mind the raging mechanism. I need to remember that is something that's worth testing. The longer these guys are fighting, the better they will do. Alright, so dive in. Go around and just make sure that we don't actually kill Malagor. No, come on. Okay. Okay. Good. That would have been very frustrating. Alright, Malagor. Chase me. Let's kick it up a notch and see how this breaks down now. So, this time around, it's a bit more even. Again, there are a lot of variables on the battlefield, like how the initial engagement starts, the strength of the initial charge, the dice gods, and who they favor. But we have the first phase of Rage kicking in. Wulfrik's actually taking quite a beating from Malagor. So now you know how that will play out if... oh, wow, okay. This is not It's not exactly what I intended. Alright, how are these guys doing? They've got physical resistance now. So they're not dying as quickly, but they're still not coming out on top in terms of damage output. Alright, well there goes Wulfrik. Yeah, you know what? I guess the Bestigor herd will be relatively evenly matched against the Marauder Champions. They are equal pricing, so we can actually test that out. Maybe we like have some custom battles or something. If you guys really want to see some more in-depth testing of the Marauder Champions, we can test them out in another video. Let's get Ungrim, Iron Fist, and some Longbeards with great weapons against these two. See how that plays out. So if you guys would like to see some things, again, let me know. That is why I am here. We've got, when this releases, we have another 4 days to go before release. So anything you'd like to see, let me know. And unless I can't show it to you for some reason, I will. At least I'll try my best to. You never know, Murphy's Law, right? So, let's see this. Now, the Longbeards with great weapons diving in, statistically, they're not better across the board. It looks like actually their melee defense is lower, melee attack is lower. They are armor piercing, though, so that might make a pretty big difference. Let's see how that goes. Ungrim is beating the crap out of Wulfrik, so we know how that would end. Gotta keep Wulfrik alive. Gotta keep Wulfrik alive. Of course not. Hard to tell. Let's try and come in here with like a Dwarf Lord or something. I feel like the armor on the Longbeards is going to keep them alive. And then you have to consider on the actual battlefield, they'll probably have Rune of Negation active on them. Rune of Wrath and Ruin will probably be causing damage to some of your troops as Norsca, so variables, right? Variables. But mano y mano, however you would say dwarf, it seems like the Longbeards with their great weapons are able to hold the line, but not able to get the hurt through. Now again, I'm trying to maintain a pretty solid front line as well, where nothing trickles over and around, but that'll obviously happen sometimes. And that's just because, again, at this point we have sort of, again, a 1-to-1 scale as opposed to a full surround, with damage coming from multiple directions. It'll last a little bit longer as well this way, so just want to see how these play out. Again, very evenly matched here. Keeping an eye on that engagement as well, but very evenly matched here. Marauder Champions are coming out on top, though, as time goes on, and that's, I think, because we're kicking into the extra leadership, we're sticking around, we're going to have damage resistance now, or physical resistance, I should say, so that's going to help, because, again, the dwarfs are armor-piercing here, so that should help quite a bit, and now we're going to kick into extra melee attack, and at that point, we should really start coming out on top. Yeah, there we go. See, so once these Marauder Champions stick around for the whole 9 yards, once they're actually there right until they're raging all the way through, I think that's when their abilities really shine. That's where they shine and start causing some serious hurt. Look at this guy. Look at this guy wrecking this dwarf. The dwarf's going to have a short life, right? I'd apologize, but I'm really not sorry. Alright, so I feel like if the battle goes on for long enough after, though, like it has this time, and now we've lost our benefits from raging, you know what, it's too late. Looks like the Marauder Champions are coming out on top. And these are Longbeards with great weapons, so they are armor-piercing. And that is a long fight. So they stood their ground for a very long time, but at the end of the day, those Marauder Champions came out on top pretty handily, I would say. About a quarter health left. That's not terrible. And that's, again, without any support or anything, so it's not bad at all. That is not bad at all. What else? Anything else we should test these guys up against? I don't really feel like it's necessary to try them against, like, Flagellants. We could try them against... I want to see how they fare against Savage Orcs. Oh, they should slice right through Savage Orcs. I just want to see how that damage resistance, the physical resistance rather, stacks up. So let's just take a look at that really quickly. I imagine, I'm just thinking here out loud, the champs must come out on top. Must. Alright. Let's just knock this up. Oh, come on. Seriously? There we go. It's hard to tell with that start. Let's start that over. This is the part where it gets really frustrating. Yeah, but the Marauder champs should cleave right through the Savage Orcs.
Marauder Champions.
Okay. Stay back. Right, there we go. Didn't have the straightest line there, actually. It's not ideal, but let's see how this goes. Okay, Wulfrik needs to kind of run around a little bit so we don't finish that guy off. Huh. I certainly wouldn't describe this as cleaving. A lot of hurt being done by those Savage Orcs, and they're able to stand their ground because of that physical resistance. 30% is no joke. Imagine having Wurzag in there as well with Warpaint of Wurzag, and they'd be sticking around for a while. Obviously, once Rage starts kicking in, it might be a different story, but Savage Orcs don't necessarily melt to Marauder Champions. Interesting. Not what I would have expected. Now, I do want to check what Marauder Champs with great weapons do against the Dwarfs, the Longbeards with great weapons, because that was a pretty interesting engagement. And I imagine this one... It's hard to tell, actually. And again, we have to keep prices in mind as well. Marauder Champions with great weapons are 1,100, right? And then Dwarf Longbeards with great weapons are a fraction of that. So, have to keep costs in mind as well. Right, let's get you guys over here. Let's get you guys over here. Dive on in, and let's kick it up. Just to see how this breaks down. Okay, so this is a lot faster. Again, we've got that armor piercing in there, and statistically otherwise, the dwarfs are worse in almost every way. Their armor is irrelevant. Their melee defense is a little bit higher, so they will hold their ground for longer. Not doing terribly. But there we have Rage kicking in with the physical resistance as well now. So we should be able to chop these dwarfs down to size. Huh. Decent amount of hurt came through, actually. Now, at the end of the day, yes, the Dwarf Lord dove in after finishing Wulfrik off, but not for 1,100 points versus 750. I don't know. Let's try the Bestigor herd again. Let's get Malagor in there. Bestigor herd. Actually, no. Let's try Khazrak, or let's try Morgur, just because then we can see how Wulfrik does against Morgur as well in the background there. Really not sure how I feel about the Marauder Champions. It's the cost that I'm trying to figure out how viable they'll be to take en masse to the field. It's like when you go up against, not always, but sometimes when going up against dwarfs as the Beastmen, you get a lot of Bestigor herd. So is it that kind of a situational unit? Against the Bestigor herd, they definitely had the better charge, despite the Bestigor herd having a much better charge bonus. The Bestigor herd have stats, much better stats actually, so might be a matter of Dice Gods getting involved here, but we're about evenly matched, I would say. Leadership, of course, kicking in there, but let's try that again. Let's try that again. Come on. All right. You guys over here, get you over here. Come on, charge me. There we go. Still took more hurt on the charge. Actually, pretty even on the charge, I would say. And this is, I think, a much more fair engagement. Wulfrik is beating the crap out of Morgur the Shadow Gave there. Come on. Disengage. Disengage. This is pretty even. So this makes a lot more sense. I think the dice are being relatively neutral. Yeah, this is pretty evenly matched, but once we start raging, it should tilt, I would say, towards the Marauder Champions with their great weapons. Regeneration has definitely helped Morgur a little bit. How are we doing here? Almost at the next level, and that'll give us physical resistance. I'm pretty comfortable saying that the Marauder Champions come out on top in this engagement. Pretty comfortable with that statement. Because now we've got physical resistance as well in just a second or so. There you have it, and
Wulfrik the Wanderer.
now that should make a pretty big difference to the amount of damage they're eating. Yeah, there you go. Green crossed swords. We're coming out on top. Get that extra melee attack if this battle lasts for long enough, but I don't think it will. But again, Marauder Champs did take a decent amount of hurt. Again, the best gore are also armor piercing. So there you have it. We did win, but it wasn't happiest of times for the Marauder Champions. Now, let's try, let's move on from the infantry, I think. Let's try, I'm not going to do any missile infantry tests. That's a little bit harder to do. They get charged down and stuff. Let's skip the cavalry as well. We all know how cavalry kind of plays out. I'm going to skip that. These guys we've seen on the field before, so let's just hop past that. Again, if you guys want to see some of these things tested, let me know in the comments below. I'm trying to test, again, all the units that I think are going to be common on the field, units that are new, and units that I think are interesting as well. If there's something you want to see, though, I have absolutely no problem, obviously, in giving you guys a little display. Now, let's try the Norscan Ice Wolves versus Chaos Warhounds, because, again, I feel like we have a solid interceptor unit here. So let's get the Chaos Warhounds with poison first, because they're pretty common on the field. Now, the Ice Wolves are a bit more pricey, but they also have multiple uses. So let's see how they perform against these Warhounds with poison. Just as an early kind of test. Alright, switching sides here now. Pop you over there, pop you over here. Alright. Let's see how this plays out. They didn't even charge me. But, I mean... Yeah, okay, so they drop basically right away there, despite poison helping them. So regular Chaos Warhounds don't stand a chance. I'm not going to waste any more time testing this out. Even if they had a decent charge, at most I think the Norscan Ice Wolves would be at about half health. Not really worth testing again, but now I want to try the Norscan Ice Wolves against, say, again, Senegor. So Ice Wolves I see as maybe a bit of an interception unit. That might be their strong sort of suit. They're 650, Senegor are 800. Let's see how that matches up. Clearly they can shut down Chaos Warhounds with poison. You can use them to protect your hunters, use them to protect, you know, wide flanking maneuvers from enemy Warhounds, but can they do a good job against enemy cavalry? So let's try the Senegor here first, because they are pretty common on the field. Senegor with great weapon as well, so maybe we'll try that out just depending on how this goes. I want to get a charge in. There we go. It's not a clean charge. I want to try and keep the playing field even. On the topic of even, this seems to be just that. I feel like if we'd gotten a charge off proper, we would have got more hurt through. But, okay, looks like Senegor turned the Ice Wolves away. Let's try that again, and hopefully this time we can both charge each other. I don't want to try the bigger field, because with the bigger field, there's more chance that the enemy goes after the general instead. As I've learned from past experiences. All right, but let's get you over here. Come on, come on. There we go.
Wulfrik the Wanderer.
Okay. So, charge me. Okay.
Consider it done.
Alright. So, on the charge, again, some variables. Pretty even. And the fight itself is feeling pretty even as well. Leadership drop a lot faster on the Ice Wolves, of course. But, you know, able to shut the Senegor down, again, considering the price difference, you might have 2 units of Norscan Ice Wolves on the field, and that'll probably shut down a unit of Senegor. Now let's just quickly take a look. Is there any point? I'm just wondering if there's a point in checking out Senegor with Great Weapon. Their melee defense is a fair bit lower, so let's try it out. They are relatively common as well, and again, both Senegor and Senegor with Great Weapon are a bit more expensive than the Ice Wolves, so always keep that in mind as well. And after this, we'll try them against like Flagellants, because let's assume, you know, you've got this flanking maneuver going, you were able to shut down enemy missile cavalry, and now you're going into the front lines with a rear charge, or for some reason, a straight head-on charge. Alright, so again, relatively even on the charge, but oh yeah, those Great Weapons are doing a little bit more hurt there. Their melee defense is lower, but yeah, these guys are coming out on top quite handily. Okay, fair enough. I think that tells us what we need to know, but again, I think the Ice Wolves are a pretty solid unit. Especially if you're going to be up against, you know, like the Wood Elves, probably. I can see them being useful. We don't really see missile cavalry that often, to be fair. But I definitely see them having some uses. Let's use the Wood Elves proper. Let's get a Glade Lord in there, and... wait, why did I... Oh, because I was thinking about range units. I wanted to try against the Flagellants. My apologies. So let's get the Flagellants in there, and... see how that plays out. Again, it's going to be a head-on charge. Typically, you're probably going to come in with like a flanking maneuver, get a nice rear charge in, just to get some hurt done. But again, I want to see how quickly either unit falls, just to give us an idea again of time, like time frames. Come on. All right, we're both charging. Flagellants do have a decent charge. Oh, those poor guys. Okay, well, that's funny. This is hilarious, in fact. Oh, this poor guy. Oh, no! Oh, we shouldn't have to see that. Okay, back to the main engagement. That was sad. Got these Ice Wolves messing these Flagellants up. Yeah, I think the Ice Wolves are coming out on top. You know, that's actually more even than I thought it would be, and the Ice Wolves are dropping in leadership. Again, they're not going to go berserk, they're not going to rage, they're not Marauders, if you couldn't tell. So, it's pretty even, and the Flagellants might just break the Ice Wolves, but again, that means with a rear charge, the Flagellants would have... well, they'd be dead. If you've got your... what should we say? If you've got some Marauder Berserkers hitting the Flagellants, and you get these Ice Wolves coming in from the rear, you've probably very quickly taken care of that flank, or, you know, that center, whatever position it might be, and now you're able to push through for an envelopment. So I do think the Ice Wolves will get a decent bit of use. Let's try it against some Battle Pilgrims. Again, head-on charge just to see what it looks and feels like. Let's get Leoncoeur in there, just so I get to say his name, and get some Battle Pilgrims. Also want to see how Wulfrik does against Leoncoeur. But yeah, the Battle Pilgrims, again, we're doing a head-on charge, but, you know, let's see that damage output, the rate of damage, and again, just how these guys perform against each other, though. It will almost never be 1v1 between these two units, as long as, well, I want to say, you know, depending on who's in charge, it may or may not be one-on-one, but good little charge in there, checking these guys around, and the Battle Pilgrims are actually falling right apart. Despite their acceptable melee defense, guys are falling apart. Let's see if they bounce back, though. Again, their leadership is not going to hold, so you know what? I think the Norscan Ice Wolves are going to take it. Getting pretty even now, though. And leadership, who drops first? Oh, hey, there you have it. There go the Ice Wolves. Let's try that again, just for a, you know, air quote, bigger sample size. Though 2 is not really a big sample size. Let's just see how it plays out with another attempt here. All right. Get you over there, get you over there. Alright. Alright, we got the charge in. We're on top of things. We're wrecking their day. Battle Pilgrims were, like... looking for the word that I was trying to say, but I can't think of it. Regretting their pilgrimage. That's the word. That's the phrase. Alright, no, they had it again. And that's enough testing for me, if you ask me, for this video. Obviously, we're doing a lot more testing for actual you know, tactic development and faction guides and stuff like that. But with a rear charge, though, the Battle Pilgrims are actually cheaper too. But with like a rear charge, if the Pilgrims are being held in place, that could go pretty well, I would say. Now, though, let's move on, I think. Let's get into the Skin Wolves. So again, these guys are anti-large. They've got that physical resistance as well. So I want to see how they perform against... let's try Empire Knights first. We don't really see Empire Knights that often. Equivalent pricing, though, so I want to test it out. Now, let's do Reiksguard. We see Reiksguard every once in a while, so let's try the Reiksguard out. And then we'll try Demigryph Knights with Halberds, of course. Maybe we try some Infantry as well. Try some Chaos Knights, maybe. These guys, I think, are worth testing a bit more thoroughly. Because these guys are
Wulfrik the Wanderer.
pretty interesting. Alright. So let's get that charge going. Let's get this charge going. Let's see how this works out. Come on. Oh wow, okay, so the Reiksguard are coming out on top quite heftily. The 120 armor must be making all the difference in the world. So let's reserve the Reiksguard for Skin Wolves with armor. Maybe. At least we're causing some hurt. There's that. That physical resistance isn't really doing enough. Yeah, so there we have it. Reiksguard, about 50% health. They're a little bit more expensive, though, again. So worth keeping in mind. Let's see how the Demigryph Knights with Halberds do. I imagine maybe instant crushing? Oops, no. Where are we? Let's try it out. Let's try it out. Quite a few more units to go, actually.
I'll take heads.
I'm wondering if we split this video in 2. But let's get this done first. Alright. We got the charge in there. The demis didn't really get a charge, but that is feeling like an instant melt here. Yeah. Yeah. Alright, so Skin Wolves against Demigryph Knights with Halberds, not really a thing. You don't want them chasing after these demis. So, let's end that battle before too many Skin Wolves have to die. Let's try them against Knights of the Realm. So, I think it was... we saw a 2-on-1, 2 units of Skin Wolves versus 1 unit of Knights of the Realm, if I recall correctly. And I want to know how they stack up 1-on-1. And, you know, the more I talk, the more I think... we're about at an hour and a half, roughly, here. Don't want this to go on for too much longer, so I might actually split this this video in 2 parts as well.
Wulfrik the Wanderer.
Hope you guys don't mind, but I'm sure you understand. Well, some of you might think otherwise, but I think it's easier to go through videos that are smaller when watching. And if we could get a proper charge here, I would get a proper test. Oh, are they going into wedge formation? Or lance formation? Okay. Going after Wulfrik, though. Alright. So straight charges from both sides, and I guess under Lance, they have absolutely destroyed the Skin Wolves. Interesting. I wonder if Lance formation had everything to do with that, because that's a big charge bonus buff. Wow. Wow, that was completely destroyed there. Not what I was expecting whatsoever. Okay. What do you know? What do you know? Let's try some questing knights. Audio's starting to act up a little bit. Questing knights. Armor piercing, anti-infantry. So we did determine that Skin Wolves are evidently infantry as opposed to large units. So let's see how this goes. See how this goes. Yeah, those Knights of the Realm really ruined the Skin Wolves' day there.
Killer of champions.
Alright. See how this goes. Alright, we got the charge this time. Don't know if that is fair. But despite getting the charge, despite getting a rear charge, we are eating a lot of hurt. You know what? I feel like if that was a head-on charge, it would have gone the way of the questing knights. Can't help but get that feeling. All right, let's try that again. This time we'll let them kind of get into their lance formation if they want to get a charge on us. Okay, no lance formation. Wait, forget if questing knights even have lance formation. But either way, all right. So the charge is in. Questing knights are coming out on top. Right. This is not as bad as the Knights of the Realm, which is strange. But the Skin Wolves have definitely melted away. Okay. Let's see how that's going. Let's try and do a couple more Skin Wolves, and I think before we transition to the Skin Wolves with their armor, we're going to cut it. Let's try Skin Wolves against. Let's try it against Blood Knights. We haven't really seen the vampire counts on the field. This probably isn't going to work out. I'd be very surprised if this works out. I'd be extremely surprised. Oh, you know what I want to try, though? I want to try Royal Pegasus Knights. We do see Royal Pegasus Knights sort of often on the field, so I do want to test that out.
Wulfrik the Wanderer.
Let's get these guys over here.
Wulfrik the Wanderer.
Let the Blood Knights get a bit of a charge, because that would only be natural. Invocation of the Heck, I'm guessing. Yep, which, again, only natural. Wow, okay. I should have nixed the magic on that guy, but those zombies aren't doing anything in this battle. I'm just falling apart. The Skin Wolves do not stand a chance against Blood Knights. Lesson learned. Meanwhile, Wulfrik over here, I guess, is doing a decent amount of work. Oh, you know what? Don't Smoke Gavmo is probably helping these guys a lot. Alright. We need to fix that. We need to fix that. Because I don't think anybody takes Don't Smoke Gavmo to the field, even though it is good. Let's get rid of Invocation from the Heck as well. Just see how that changes things. No magic. Let's just see how that develops. Anytime I say how that, the word breaks down comes to mind. Alright. Alright.
Prepare to ruin.
Okay.
Hear my corpse.
And countercharge. Let's go up here. Get our charges in. Okay, I think we're still going to melt. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That is not... This is... Oh, well, at least we killed one Blood Knight there. But this is definitely going the way of the Blood Knights. Yeah. There's the route. Already barely caused any damage there. I mean, okay, we took a quarter of their health out, but... Yikes. Again, though, the Blood Knights are a lot more expensive. They're 1,700 points, so let's keep that in mind. Actually, before we get rid of the Skin Wolves, I do want to try giant. A chaos giant. Have balance of power. Just want to see how, again, how that breaks down. I just want to see if the Skin Wolves are able to take out a giant. Probably not. I mean, the giant's got that massive club. A lot of hurt coming through. Alright. Let's do this. Swarm the giant. Gonna cause some hurt. We're getting some hurt in, but the giant's getting a pretty good beating. Actually, you know what? The giant's going to fall. Yeah, looks like the giant does die in this engagement. But a lot of hurt coming through despite that, so maybe the armor, actually no, that's not going to make a big difference, I don't think. But at least the giant is routing now, so Skin Wolves versus giant. Skin Wolves come out on top. Good to know. Good to know. They both broke. That's funny. Let's see how their health ended. Yeah. So Skin Wolves come out on top in that engagement. Alright, alright. How do they do against Crypt Horrors? That's another common unit on the field. Let's get these Crypt Horrors in here. Alright. Again, the balance power there is just reflecting, I think, Wulfrik's sheer dominance of the field. But, I think this will be my last test of the Skin Wolves. And again, I'm going to break the video there. And then the next video, again, you'll be able to get on the eye at the top right corner of the screen, just to get you conveniently to the next video, where we will continue testing these units. Yeah, these Crypt Horrors are falling apart. Solid. Alright, there go the Crypt Horrors. Despite the regeneration, there's no Invocation of Heck keeping them alive. But that's the end of the Crypt Horrors. Alright, pretty decisive there. With all of that said, though, guys, this is where I'm going to cut the tests, cut this video, because, again, just to keep things digestible, when we return, we're going to take a look at everything from the Armored Skin Wolves down. Again, thank you very much for watching. There will be a link to the next video on screen right now, at least there should be. If you aren't already a subscriber, make sure you hit that subscribe button and keep following for more Total War content as this game does continue to grow and as Game 2 heads towards us. Apart from that, thank you again very much for joining me, and until next time, again, which is just a handful of moments away, cheers.